Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel, Hooked on Houseplants. My name is Darlena, aka Chula. Welcome. Hola, mi gente. Just a fun little fact, y'all. Only my husband calls me Chula. He has called me Chula for so long that when he calls me by my real name, which is Darlena, I know he's either mad at me or he means business. And another fun little fact is my mom, she said that she named me Darlena because she said when I was born, I was such a little darling. So let me stop before I get emotional. Anyway, y'all, there is a whole hurricane going on right now. Hurricane Helene. And it is indirectly, I guess, impacting the state of Georgia. I don't know if it's the whole state of Georgia, but where I'm at, we're getting a lot of rain. It started last night. It's been raining almost the whole day today, so it's kind of rainy and gloomy, and so that's why I'm in a different place than where I usually am. So yeah, that's what's going on, and I hope that everyone being directly impacted by the hurricane, that they and their families are okay and safe. Okay, so let's get started with some updates, okay? So I am going to start with the more negative updates first because we want to end on a positive note. So the first thing that I want to tell you is, and I'm going to link it, if you don't remember in my Hoya collection video, I showed you a Calistophylla cutting. It was in water and it didn't look too hot. Now, I'm new to this whole YouTube thing and editing, so I'm going to try to insert a picture of that particular Hoya. So if you don't see it, that means I was unable to do it. But it was a Calistophylla, just had 2 leaves on it. And to be honest, it was not really looking the greatest. Well, y'all, that Calistophylla sadly is no longer with us. I don't know what happened. The first bottom leaf started to yellow, fell off. A couple of days later, the top leaf began to yellow. So I had it in water. I was trying to root it in water. And like I said, since I got the cutting, it wasn't looking great. So I don't know what the problem was, but it's no longer with us. Okay, moving right along. The second update that is not so positive is this is what is left of my Aglaonema chocolate. Yes. If you remember from my Aglaonema collection video, this plant was very full, very lush, very healthy. It was a whole lot bigger than this, okay? I don't know what happened, y'all. To this day, I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna say it started about a month and a half ago. The leaves started yellowing. But this wasn't just, okay, my bottom leaves are yellowing, you know, it's time for them to go, they're getting old, because I know that plants do that. This yellowing was different. I mean, it was like 5 and 6 leaves at a time that were yellowing. And so I took her out of the substrate to see what was going on. And there was some root rot. So, of course, I cut away the bad roots and I put her in stratum. She seemed to be doing okay in stratum, but then she started with the whole leaves yellowing again, yellowing again. So I took her out of stratum and I saw some more root rot. Now, of course, I've already inspected her leaves to see if maybe it could be a pest. I didn't see anything on the leaves, and I still treated her leaves just in case there was something that I didn't see. And I just, to this day, I just really don't know what happened. Maybe it was just the root rot only. I don't know. But I snatched her up out of that stratum really quickly. And I just cut off her roots, y'all. I just cut them all off and put her in water with some Super Thrive. And I'm hoping she will start to respond because I hate to lose this plant. It's beautiful and it was very hard to find this plant. I got it from an Etsy seller. And like I said, she had been doing great all this time, and then all of a sudden, she started to go downhill, which unfortunately can happen with our plants. But I'm trying my best to save her. I'm going to stick beside her, okay? Because I love me some Aglaonema chocolate, okay? So, on to the more positive updates. In my, well, you know what? I'm going to go with this one because this is kind of like a comeback, if you will. So in my video, I think it was July updates. I think it was plants that are giving what they're supposed to give, but there was some that were not. I think it was that video. But I showed you a Shishmataglottis, what was left of my Shishmataglottis. And y'all, it was the dickens. It was the dickens. I think it was only one leaf left. And I have gone through the ringer with this plant. She has been in and out of water, in and out of substrate. Finally, I said, okay, I'm going to put her in stratum. And when I put the plant in stratum, she started to respond very well. And so just recently, I have put her in pond. So she's been in pond about 2 weeks. And I'm going to tell you in a minute why I took her out of pond. But she is doing fabulous. I mean, look how good she looks. If I can put a picture in of how she was looking just about a month and a half ago, she is looking good. And she even has a new leaf right there about to open up. And she seems to like the pond. I can see some root action. I don't know if you all can see any roots, but yeah, she seems to be liking the pond life. I have some chunky perlite on the bottom, and I mixed it in a little. It actually doesn't mix very well with the pond. I don't know if it's because it's so chunky, but she is responding very nicely to being in pond. I mean, this is the best she has looked in a while. So I hope she continues to, do well. So this is the Shishmataglottis wallichii. Okay. This is another plant, y'all, that was on the struggle bus. And I think she was in that same video. And I think I had her stuck into the top of a bullet, the NutriBullet container. And I had her in water and she just was not, I knew I had to hurry up and take her up out of that setup. So I put her in stratum as well. She was in stratum for a while, and her roots were just starting to get really robust. And because of a scare that I kind of had with the stratum, I took her out and went ahead and put her in pond about the same time as I did with the Shishmetaglottis wallichii. So this is the pastazanum, and I think that when I showed you this plant, if I'm not mistaken, she may have had just these two leaves. I can't remember if she had two leaves or just the one, but she gave me this leaf, and now this is the newest leaf that has opened up. So this is the pastazanum philodendron, and Miss Pasta, she is just, I guess she's liking the pond life, y'all. Yes, I got her in a plastic food container, because you know that's how we gotta roll sometimes. We ain't got nothing else. And she seems to be doing okay. I'm not going to scream victory on any of these plants just yet, because sometimes they'll be doing good for a while and then all of a sudden they'll just tank on you. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I battled with deciding on if I want to keep this plant or not. I think I've had this plant for almost 2 years. And at one point, she got really, really large. I mean, I think she had at one time like maybe 8 or 9 leaves, and they were huge. And I had her in this long rectangular setup. And she got attacked by spider mites. And it just really just decimated this plant. And so I know she's prone to spider mites, and I really don't have the room for a big, huge plant. So I'm not for sure if I'm going to keep this plant. Oh, something else that I forgot to tell y'all that y'all should be very proud of me. I recently gifted about 9 of my plants to a friend, and I was also able to sell 5 of my larger plants. And one of the plants that I sold, sadly, was my philodendron fuzzy petio. And it was such a beautiful plant, y'all. If y'all remember, she was huge. She had these big, pillowy leaves that kind of put you in the mind of this pastazanum. And I just struggled with that plant. I really did. She was a spider mite magnet as well. And she was just getting too big. And like I said, I really don't have a lot of space. And so I decided to sell her. Yes, I did sell my fuzzy patio. But the positive side is I'm down, 14 plants. So I have a couple of more that I'm probably going to try to sell, because I am trying to get like better control of my plant collection, because I don't want to get overwhelmed. And then I do have a couple of more plants coming. So yeah, I'm trying to downsize. But anyway, another positive update. Pastazanum. Oh, and with this plant, I always try to keep her, I guess what is this called? I don't know what that's called. I don't think it's called a stem, but I always keep it above whatever substrate this plant is in. Okay, so moving right along. Another aglaonema that was also on the struggle bus. Now, one thing I want to say about aglaonema is usually the more common varieties for me have been easy to care for. But what I am starting to notice, and what I have noticed, is that the ones that are more rare can be a little bit more trickier. So this is the orange stardust. And if you remember, I had to put this plant in, I put this plant in stratum. I think I put her in water first because she was struggling. I don't know what it was, but her roots started to rot. She didn't have any pests. She kind of did the same thing that my chocolate aglaonema did. So I don't know what I did or didn't do, but this plant started to tank as well. So when I got this plant, y'all, it was very expensive. I'm ashamed to even say how much I spent on this plant, but it was too much. Because when I saw it, I was like, felt like I just had to have it. So I've been bound and determined that I'm going to bring this plant back to life. Okay, whether she wants to or not, whether she knows it or not, she gonna get herself together. So she was in stratum. She was doing very well in stratum, but I decided to just go ahead and put her in pond. I don't really like how she is looking because I don't like leggy aglaonemas, and that is exactly what she is looking like. She's like a little palm tree. Um, but she just put out this newest leaf. It hasn't even finished sizing up yet, but this is a beautiful aglaonema, y'all. The orange stardust. It's just absolutely beautiful. And so I hope it's something else coming up. I don't know if you can see there. I hope it's not a flower. I hope it's a leaf. But yeah, she's been in pond, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, but all of the plants that you're going to see today that are in pond, I really put them in pond on the same day or the day after. So all of the plants that I'm showing you that are in pond, they've been in pond about 2 weeks. Okay, so that's another positive update on my aglaonema orange stardust that I have in, you can see some roots in pond. Okay. Okay, next up, another plant that was on the struggle bus. My aglaonema world of heritage. And I know y'all remember this plant. She was in my aglaonema collection video, or you may even remember her from my very first video, my houseplant tour. So ever since I have gotten this plant, I have struggled with her. Got this plant from an Etsy seller. She came to me with root rot. So she's been in every kind of substrate that you can even possibly think of, because once again, I paid too much for this plant and I'm determined that I'm gonna make it work. Okay, so I put her, she's been in, of course, soil, she's been in water. Most recently, she was in stratum. Okay, so I'm about to go there with the stratum. In my last video, if you remember, I mentioned that I had jumped on a bandwagon. But let me just say this. Stratum, when it comes to trying to root difficult plants that are hard to root in water, or I guess some people try to root their plants in perlite, in sphagnum moss, whatever, water. For those difficult plants that are hard to root up in those substrates or whatever, lost my train of thought. The, oh my gosh, the stratum has worked wonders for those particular plants for me, as far as helping them to root up. But in my case, I believe that I left some of them in stratum for too long. Because what happens is the stratum that I had, the flugel stratum, it started to break down and almost kind of like disintegrate. And so it was forming like this black, like sludgy type of material. And what happened with this plant is when I initially put her in stratum, she did awesome. I mean, she was putting out roots. I mean, the most roots that I've seen this plant put out since I've had it. But I think I left her in stratum too long. And I saw like this big, beautiful root coming across here. I took her out, and that root came off this plant like it was nothing. She lost like two really healthy looking, what appeared to be healthy looking roots. And I think it may have been rot, maybe, I guess. They didn't look rotten. To be honest, I don't know what happened. All I can say is that I feel like maybe I left her too long in stratum and something didn't go right. So just a warning to all of you who are thinking about trying stratum. Uh, you may want to be careful and just not leave them too long in stratum, or do your research. I don't know if maybe I added too much water to the stratum. I don't know what happened to be exact, but I noticed that a lot of these plants that I took out of stratum, there was like that sludgy material as the stratum started to break down. So those plants who are prone to root rot, you just want to be careful with leaving them in stratum too long. So anyway, I put her in pond, and so far so good. She did lose another leaf that yellowed because of the roots weren't doing too good, and this leaf looks like it's starting to yellow as well. So I don't know about this plant, y'all. These are the two leaves that she has given me since I've had her. And as you can see, they're a lot smaller than the other leaves, but they're beautiful. They're well formed, but they're just smaller than the other leaves. And she has something starting up right there. Hopefully it's a leaf and not a darn flower. But you can see some of this root is healthy, and I think that's the only one. Here's see, is that the same one? So hopefully she'll be okay in pond, y'all, because if she's not okay in pond, I really don't know what else I can do, because she's been in everything else. I guess if she starts to rot again, I guess I could just put her in just straight up perlite or moss, but we'll see. So far so good though. So this is a positive update, I would say. All right. So my next update that I'm so happy about is my fried egg, or is it Michkiliana or something like that, the variegated form. I mean, this plant has just not disappointed. I've had this plant for a couple of weeks, and she has given me like 3 leaves, y'all. This is her latest leaf. Look how beautiful that is. I mean, she just has not disappointed. This is another leaf that she gave me. Because I think she only had like 3 or 4 leaves when I got her. And she's only lost 1, I believe. But she is just doing the most. I'm very happy with this plant. I'm very happy I was able to get her. She is also in pond. And you can see that root action. There's one right there. Some more right there. So she's doing very well. This is self-watering. But yeah, she is just doing really well. And I just hope she continues to do well. But yeah, she has just been pushing out new growth left and right. Isn't she lovely? Y'all don't get me started trying to sing. Okay. So next up, trying to hurry up, is of course, y'all haven't seen her in a while, but Miss Chantrieri. Y'all, this is my favorite allocation. I mean, hands down, she is just my favorite. She is also in pond now. She's in self-watering. And you can, let's see her roots. And this is her newest leaf, y'all. So she has, let's see, one, two, three. She got 5 leaves. Can y'all believe that? This is her newest leaf and it's gorgeous. Look, it's not finished hardening off yet, but it is, I just love this plant. I mean, since I've gotten her, she has just done wonderful things. Oh, I just love her. Look how gorgeous that leaf is. I think on this leaf you can really see the cupria. I think that's I think it's the cupria and sanderiana that she's a hybrid of. But I love her. To me, she is just so regal. I just love this plant, y'all. So I just wanted to show you her newest leaf because I think the last time you saw her, she was putting out a new leaf. I think this was her last one. So hopefully this one will be a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's the Chantrieri. Okay, so last up is, if you saw my last video where I went to Home Depot, I saw some beautiful Calathea macleanas. And even though I had one already, I just wanted her to look more full because I've seen some that are just gorgeous. Like they are just giving lushness and fullness. And I wanted mine to look like that. Mine was not lush. It was not full enough. So I came home with one, y'all. Yes. So she's only been with me a couple of days. But, oh, look. Look how beautiful. See this is what I wanted to see. Now these that you're seeing up here at the top, this is from the plant that I already had. And she had like maybe 5 or 6 lower leaves. But I've added them all together. And look how beautiful that is. Look how full and beautiful this plant is. I'm just so happy with how this turned out, y'all. And look what else. She is in pond. Yes, I converted the plant that I already had to pond. I have to say that what I did was a little risky and I wouldn't recommend it because I've just gone crazy with the pond. I need to calm down before I have some fatalities. But the plant that I already had, I took her out of her substrate because I felt like she needed to be repotted anyway. And so I got almost all the soil off her roots. I know they say with pond, you don't have to have the roots squeaky clean, but I try to get them as clean as possible. And so then the new one that I brought home a day or two ago, I did the same thing. I just took her out of her soil, rinsed her off, and just plopped them both together in pond. Yeah, I know. I could have shocked the plant. I just wanted to do it. I just felt like she would be okay. And so far, so good. We'll see what happens. But so far, she is looking great. Yep, I got her in a homemade. This is just a regular clear pot. And I just put her down in here as a reservoir for the water. So yes, y'all, this is my Calathea macleana that I'm very happy with. So y'all, that is it for my video today. My, I guess you could say September updates. And I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know down in the comments which plants you enjoy the update on the most. Um, or any ideas for future videos that you would like to see, please let me know down in the comments. I appreciate you so much for coming back, those who have subscribed and are returning. And I want to welcome you new ones here. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting my channels. You all have been doing the bomb. You have been doing awesome with commenting. The feedback I've been getting is just so encouraging, and I just love it. I appreciate it so much. So y'all be safe. Um, if you like this content and you're new here, feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you. For those who have subscribed, don't forget to hit the notification button so you'll know when your Chula puts out some new planty content. And you can also check me out on Instagram. So y'all take care and be safe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.